What's going on, guys? This is Music Player 1979 coming to you from West Texas. It's the 23rd of January 2014. The date was Tuesday the 21st. It was the afternoon time. I was headed to Snyder, a little bit bigger of a town, to catch some supplies for myself for the week. And off in the southwestern sky, about 3 hours or so before sunset, I noticed the system coming up below the sun. Now this is what the system will look like before it comes overhead. You have a planet here. You can see the lines that are going through it. Most people think they're chemtrails, but they're not. Now this just makes itself visible on the first day as it appears, and you'll see just a little bit as we see here, and the rest of the sky will be blue. You can see the detail in the clouds, the lines that it makes, all of it. There's still here, still one here. You can see how this right here is being pushed down with the backing of it. Just look at the detail, folks. It's amazing. The little planets you have here. And this is still the 21st. Beautiful picture here, where you have a corkscrew travel here, this being the primary object creating this. And then of course you have the bigger planet creating the arm. But this object here is going in a corkscrew fashion. You can see how the lines are drawn down here and disappear. They come back up here. Think of it as the end of a screw. The bevels you have in it that go from the bottom to the top. Same idea here. Now in this picture you can see a large object. You can see its debris trail behind it of what we can see as the light's hitting it. You can see this right here, it's just massive, and it's going from the right to the left. Now this object right here, I followed this object from the right of the sun to the left, and it never changed its appearance. So I wanted to look at this, how it looks in this picture on the right of the sun, and then we'll look at it again on the left of the sun. Now you can see in this picture here it's closer to the sun and it hasn't changed. It's still the same. Now again, it's on the left side of the sun, and the object is thicker but still the same. And you can see the travel pattern has changed. Its influence is down here, where the main object should be right now. Now you can see the C shape it makes in front of the object. Almost the same object as the April object. There it is again. Further to the left, and nothing's changed. Now, you have a massive object here. For the simple fact is you see the real skinny lines that travel from about this area across the screen. And if you use your depth of perception, you'll realize that this is further away than this. This comes out. Okay. And it's the shadows that you want to look for as well. This makes a C shape here because there's a massive object here and here. I mean, this one is big, but you'll see it on the 22nd. You can see the lines still here and here. They're really everywhere. You can see them. They stretch all the way across, some of them. Okay, but right here I want you to note, as we're traveling from the right to the left here on this line, you'll see it moves down right here. It splits into two. Now it connects to this smaller object behind this bigger object. Connects to this object here. Now these pictures were taken on the 22nd, about 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And seeing the system rise on the 22nd or the 21st, I knew I'd be able to go out on the 22nd and it would be coming over us. And it did. It had a beautiful show too. So as you can see, it has covered. We get what looks to be chemtrails going across the sky here. Now there's a couple objects that I'll show you. They're plainly planets. There are a few large ones. Now for those of you that have watched my videos and that have followed, you'll start realizing that the objects you're looking at are the same as what I've showed you before. If you're new, I'll go ahead and walk you through it again on what I'm seeing, and hopefully eventually I'll be able to get you to see as well. This object here, all of this hasn't changed a bit. All it's done is gotten closer. And this is on the southwestern horizon area. Now you'll see how this folds, comes out as it's going to, this area right here is going to come across the sky over me. You can see how it splits right here. And you can see how all this stops here, gives this a shadow area. And I believe this to be a major planet. Now this is an arm, comes down, okay, and it stops here. There's a massive moon planet here. And within this planet, there are moons as well. Little ones. There's one here, traveling from right to left. You can see the trail behind it. Now everything on the right that you'll see is coming left, and everything on the left is coming right. You can tell by the way the arm is. I call it a finger, because it grabs a hand, it grabs a hold of the planet, and you'll see here in a moment what I'm talking about. You can see a planetary object here and here. They're everywhere. Here, here, wraps around. This is the same object again, planetary object. You can see, start from here, work all the way around. It's circular, okay? And the debris that's coming off the top. Now again, the same object. Just changed color a little bit. See the arm coming down. Now in this area you can start seeing shadows of maybe another object here. But this is definitely, it was amazing to watch. And folks, all you gotta do is just go out, follow the arm, and you'll see it. And it's not visible for a long amount of time. I would say this one was visible for about 5-10 minutes. And this is without a color change. And this is due east. So you can see the planetary object here. And you can start seeing where this is actually coming down at a 45, okay? Everything's coming down at a 45. And I say coming down because, you know, during the morning time we see it coming down, but in the evening you'll see it going up. So it's complete opposite because everything's turned around to us, okay? Now, the system's actually coming up from the bottom of our solar system, so morning time, of course, it'd be backwards. It'd be coming down. It looked like everything's coming down upon us. So here you have this movement going from right to left, all of this. Okay, and shortly I'll show you, I call it the deck of cards. Okay, you see the movement right to left, and this is going left to right. Same object again, just a little closer. You can see this travel. Okay, it's debris. The two lines I told you. Things that are traveling create two lines on each side. Okay, one on one side, one on the other. A thick travel debris line. Okay, this planetary object has another arm. We just don't see it because we can't see on the other side of the object. Now up here you can start seeing a platform. It's just debris that the planet's right on. It's the debris that they're creating and throwing behind them and underneath and, you know, through their travel. You can see that here, and you can see a planetary object with a smaller one behind it. And there very well could be a larger one here as well. Now in this blue, black-white illustration, you'll see what I'm talking about, the line that's created here, and this planetary object that sits within it, and its debris that it's creating behind it. You can still see this smaller planet fading away within the shadow, and this is actually coming out with a reflection. Now this right here you can start seeing push into this cloud, this debris. You see this right here starting to push into it. You can still see this planetary object and its debris field. Now look at the waves, guys. Look at the waves this is creating here. Yet again, you can see the planetary object with its arm, its hand, holding it. Its debris travel. The smaller one that's now disappearing within the cloud. You can see all this, though, how delicate and weaved looking this is. And look at the shadows in between. It's still going from right to left, and this is going left to right. Now, this shot, very eerie, because, I mean, the system's getting so close now that it's not taking a lot for it just to show itself now. It used to be to where I'd have to look a little bit, now it's just falling in my lap. This is the debris trail. Planetary objects are up here, okay, in this area, a whole bunch. Now you follow this debris trail here and you get two major lines. Okay? Look at this. Look how massive this is. Right here. This is huge, guys. You can see in this picture as well. Here it is. The debris, the hand that's holding it. You can see a smaller one in the shadow here. As well as here. Now look at the lines. Look at the little misty cover of debris we have here. Okay. Look at that. There's several smaller objects within the top of this. Could be a large one there as well. Now guys, please remember this is the first time I'm going through this too, seeing this. So if I make a mistake, I apologize. I'm trying to show you guys the best I can and the best ability I have. Now we're back to this. It's just about gone out of view. You can see a couple smaller objects here. You can still see this planetary object with its debris. And it looks to be a smaller object here that's coming on this side of this object. You can see its debris trail. Could be a larger object here as well. Now I wanted to show you guys this in a different color frame because it was a little bit out of focus. But I wanted you guys to look in this area right here. You guys can see a line, a smaller object shooting this way from left to right and starting to come around this moon, this object here. Okay, and it sits on a debris. It sits on its own debris. It's creating during its travel. You can see one here. Now again, this is a shot of the massive object just right of the sun with its debris arm. And of course something creates that arm, which is a massive object that extends out to here, to this massive object. I mean, it's just amazing, guys. Just amazing. The debris travel, its arm, its hand, and the hand creates here. And I imagine the cloud swoops at a 45 up and over this object in the front. Now you can start making smaller objects out. Here, here, through here, here. You can see the shadow, the light gray swooping underneath and over the front, like I told you was happening here. Okay. You see them all in there, guys. And again, so you zoom in to this front area, you can see here, and look at the lines I was showing you in the last video. Look at all the details when you're looking in an area. Look at everything. Look at these two lines right here. Two lines create a planet. Look right here. It's its side debris trail. Okay, and there's a larger one here. Look at this one still. How it's shadowed. This is coming up from the bottom and over the front. Look at here in the background how this pushes from the right to the left, and it's pushing on this lighter oxide. I mean, look at this, guys. You guys can still see that. This is the large object. And to be honest with you guys, these are the small objects. There are large objects out here. Large, very large. Take up a quarter of the sky, excuse me. Now you can start seeing these fingers, the devil's hands, forming. Still see that large object. How its debris is still traveling with it. How it thins out here in front, and you have a smaller couple objects here in the front. And again, we're watching the arm and the larger objects here. And there's several. There are several here. Back to the other side of the sun. We still have this object, and now we can start seeing another one. And maybe a possible third. And you still have the hand. Okay, the fingers coming across, the devil's hands. Now this is a depth perception shot. You can see this right here actually drops down. All this right here is in front of this. Okay? This right here. This is a massive object coming down. This is all of its debris field. You can start seeing another one as well right here. You see the effect that this has starting from here, coming down. How it'll U here, and then here, and here, here, and here. It creates that U as water were to run down rocks. Okay? Slow motion, of course. This area right here. Look at the debris right here on the bottom grabbing a hold of that. Now this object I captured back in June, and nothing's changed in this right here. You can see how it comes up and it comes around, but we're not able to see the other side because of this shadow. This as well. This is the same exact object I captured in June. Everything looks the same right here. Nothing has changed. Nothing. And again, it's moved a slight bit towards the east from the north. Nothing's changed. Okay? This object has tripled in size since June, if not more. And with this, there are objects like this that are not planetary. They're, I don't know, they're square. They're rock boulders of such. You guys got to remember, when this thing gets here, we're going to start seeing different shapes and sizes. And it goes back to the faces that people are starting to make out. In the beginning of me viewing these, I took it as faces and stories and things like that. I talked a moment on my last video about the men and women dining and the children playing. And in that story playing out that I've watched for 10-15 minutes, I could make out everything, and everything that I could see was in such detail. But then right there at the end, something, you know, it looked to be a huge being of such, came in with what it looked like to be a club and just laid everybody out. I mean, it was complete destruction, and it was just a sad thing to see. But see, I didn't understand that there were planetary objects that I was looking at. I really thought at the time I was going crazy. But I was looking at the planetoids and the objects that were around that, doing their travel and hitting things. You know, that's what I was seeing. I mean, this is going to stun a lot of people. Look how right here you have this area and this area. It's being forced out from the north towards the south. All of this. Okay, you can see the little lines that it's making. It's completely different from here up and then from here down. All within this area. Okay. So there's a larger object here and a larger object here that have hit each other and that are forcing debris out from in between both of them, and it's shooting out. Okay, and that's what we're seeing here. And again, this is the object heading east in the north, the June object. Nothing's changed. It's still going up at a 45, going the other, going on the other side, and we're not able to see it because we can't look on the other side of that object. Now you can see the large debris fields. I mean, they're large and they're only going to get bigger. And eventually, I imagine I won't even be able to make them out because they've gotten so large in the last couple months. Now you can see a background, you can see an outline right here starting to form. But it's square, I mean, from one to the other. Now you can see a line coming through this, stopping here dramatically and starting again here and carrying on. And you can see how the lines, there's little lines here if you look closely, go in the same direction. But yet here in the middle it's going the complete opposite. Look how delicate this is right here, starting from here going up, and it comes around at a 45. Look how delicate that is, and then it skinnies out right here and shoots off again on both directions. And that's why we're getting the cross look. You'll see the cross. It'd be everywhere. Okay. We're going to start seeing a lot more of them too. I know I showed you guys a picture a couple months back, a couple of them off the west, and they're really minute, really small, but you can make them out. They look like little crosses all the way across the sky. And we're just seeing them larger now, of course, because it's getting closer to us. Look at the detail in that. Look at this right here. And within this are little objects. I mean, look at those, guys. Look at this and this and this. Look at all that. Even in the dark shadow you can see the turn here. Now, this is pretty close to what I call the deck of cards. When you shuffle a deck of cards, you put both your hands together, use your thumbs, bend the cards, and shuffle. And within that shuffle, you're getting that left and right, left and right, left and right of the cards stacking. You want to think of that while you're looking at this, okay? You got your left, or your right here, and you got your left. You got your right, you got your left, right, all the way through. They're weaving into each other because the left is hitting the right. Okay? They're starting to hit into each other. Look at the planet right here. Look at all these. Look how this shoots up. Goes from going down to coming up because it's walking over this. Now again, stacking of cards. Think of them all weaved in together, because that's exactly what they do. And the planets, when they hit each other, you'll have that overlay of planets coming in this area. If this were planets, it very well could be two large ones sitting here? I don't know. And again, this is our June object. Coming up, around. The shadow right here. And here. All through here. Now, beautiful shot here. You can see the lighter oxide dust. Okay, and if you look inside this, every little bit of it, you can see a thick trail coming off the top, running down the side and down through the bottom and continuing on. Okay, and look at all the weaving done in this. Look at this beautiful trail, this real skinny looking trail that follows behind it, and this one as well. Beautiful shot. Now look in this area. You start seeing, I mean, if you look everywhere, really, you can start seeing the circular shapes. And look at here. Right here. And again, the weaving of the cards in this area. And again, beautiful picture. Again, we have our planetary object here, just above the sun. You see the trail. And all the different shades and depth. Look at right here. 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 Now, these have definitely gotten lower on the horizon as I'm seeing them. This is an arm. Okay, and within this arm, I mean, you have real solid lines. There's two of them here, in fact. And you have object here and here and here. They're everywhere, here, up through here. There's even a larger one up here. You can see the little veins that are running up it here as well. And this is the same arm, of course. This is on the northern side. This is our arm. And you can see little smaller ones right here as well, and they're carrying objects right above it. And again, this is the same arm, and we're following it. Now you can start seeing an object right here. This is a moon. You can see it, guys. Look, it's round. Look at the hand that grabs a hold of this. It's like gripping a basketball with one of your hands. It's just like that. Here's an arm. Here's the basketball. Here's a larger object here. And here. Look at the lines created from this. Even above here, look. You see a smaller one here. I mean, that's amazing, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the veins connecting to this. Look at the shadows. And right here, you can see a smaller one with maybe 2 or 3 of them or 4 of them sitting here in front of this smaller one. Beautiful. Taken on the north side. Now you can see a large object here. Large. With a shadow playing it. And you can start seeing this travel again more clearly, appearing above my home here on the west side. Look at all this. Look at these right here, and this connects. Now think of it as two hands reaching out, and in between those two hands is a ball. And that's what these objects are. Every single one of them requires the two hands. It's the side, the debris trail, and then it creates a debris trail beneath it. Now there are a few objects that create the V above it, and that's like the June object. I believe I illustrated that a couple months ago. Now if you look at this picture right here, you can see, I can see an object here. I can see the travel going from behind up front. Now right here you can see that it was all together here, and how it starts spreading out on both sides right here, okay, because it's going around an object. Okay, you can see little ones here and here. Now this is in the north. You can see again, this is the arm, and it's got the line going through it. Okay, and it's from a smaller object that's creating that small line. This larger arm, you can see most of it on the bottom. It's because there's objects sitting within it, creating that. On both sides, there's two of these. They look like really, really thick chemtrails. Okay, you can see right here to where it thins out. And there's two of them sitting here. It thins out, and then it shoots up right here, because it's got a massive object sitting here within it, and it's doing that 45 frontal motion. Okay, it's a hand, and there's several thousands of them sitting here. This is a different color selfie shot. Now you can see right here is an object, right here and here. Look at the shadows, guys. Right here, you can see within this little object here, there's other little objects shooting off of it. You can see a smaller one here. Now again, you can see our object here. I'll zoom in. And how the veins come around it. And this hand is holding onto it. Okay, top and bottom. It's able to hold on to this. And as well, you can see the arm that this is created by. Okay. Now right here you can start seeing what I'm talking about, the frontal motion of the cloud as the object is traveling behind it. Okay, creates that push effect, and everything, you know, it's traveling so fast that these objects are a little bit faster, and they're crawling up the front side of it. Okay, now right here I can see a vein which has created this object. I can see a finger coming out this way, and this object lays within this right here. It could be a smaller one as well, and I'm sorry about the pixelation. Here you can see one possibly, and here, but definitely right here, guys, there's no doubt about it. And again, you can see it right here. See how all this picks up at a 45 right here? All of it. Boom. It's just, and that's how the olive branch is created. It looked like an olive branch coming. The closer it got, the bigger the olive branch got. You see it? Now look at all this. Look at the detail in all this, guys. Look at all this. Look at the lines. Here, look at all the tiny ones. Right here too. Right here. Right here. Look, you're starting to create the little lines, starting to go in front of it, and eventually this will stretch all the way across, just like the other lines that I'm showing you, across the planetary objects. Now you can start seeing a larger object unfold here, and behind this one. Now, this was a pretty eerie shot. You have one arm coming out here. It's coming up, and this planetary object, there's other objects that get in front of this one and change direction here, and then another one here, and this is now going into a different direction as this part will be going in. And there's another arm over here that I don't quite show, but it does the same thing this does, and it's because there's a massive planet here, guys. Massive. And I believe this is one of 8. And again, this is our north shot. You see here, and a little one appearing here, and a couple here as well. Now look here in the front at this frontal motion. It's coming from the bottom, working itself in the front of this larger object, and now it's coming around right here up top. There's an object here, and a lot of little ones here. Now this was an inverted color picture. So we had 2 shades here. You'll have the dark shade and the light shade. And I wanted to show you guys what was in the light shade, because the light inverted the color, which made it dark. Okay. Now look at this right here. I've been following this from the very beginning. And now it's very large and dark. And we're still able to see it within this inversion. Look right here. The detail in this darkness here. Okay. Now remember, we can still make out a little bit of the planetary objects in the white as well. Okay, right here. You can see the larger ones. Look at the shadows, the way it bends. Especially right here. That's just amazing. Now again, this is the high shot from the west above my house. You can see one arm here, and the other one comes over here, the other side, and it goes around this massive object with its billion other objects, tiny, look, to bigger. Now look at the light source created in this area here. You can start seeing it right here. Look at everything within it. Now look right here, how it starts here and works itself up, getting thicker and thicker and thicker into the very top, and it makes its own platform. Here's an object. You can see the little weaving it's making from objects going past this. Look right here. Okay. Now, it's doing this U pattern because there's an object it's going over, a larger object. Okay, and you can still see this frontal motion being created with these objects. And it's going up and over the front of a larger one. Look at here too, guys. Now, me, I can see a face here. You can see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Okay, and this is possibly hair. But when I first seen this, guys, I took it as Jesus with the thorns, the planets, and the little veins it made. I took it as thorns on his head. You can see his face, and it comes down, and you can see his arm that comes up, and it holds a primary up here within the top. But with his arm, you can see right here the little objects, I mean moons, shooting out in this area right here. Okay, with the 1,000 right here. It's in his face. Look at this object. Amazing shot, guys. When I seen it, it spooked me a bit. It looks like a huge face stretching his arm. Look at that. That's very much real, guys. Very much real. Now again, this is the north shot. We've been following here since the beginning of the video. You can see now the structures are coming out more clearly. You see the frontal motion that this whole thing's making. Look at these objects here. Okay. You can see the planet now sitting on top right here, and how delicately these smaller objects go around it and shoot off into another object. Now, this is the inversion shot, but it's not inverted, of course. You can see this cloud that I'm talking about that I followed, this real thin, dark cloud. And I believe I showed you guys a couple videos ago of it above my home. You know, it looked like a real sharp boulder shooting through the clouds. And it's this right here. It's just gotten a lot lower on the horizon. You got to remember, the closer it gets, the faster it's going to move. Look at all these lines here. Okay, look how it stops right here. Okay, look at all of them. Now you can start making an object out here on the north. This frontal motion, you start to see it bend over the front of this object now, okay? And it's right here, I can make it out. You can see the arm and this arm, both sides. You can see for a brief moment on this side, and it disappears right here because we can't see on the other side of this object. Now this black and white and blue shot here, look within this blue. I wanted to show you guys a horse. If you guys can see it, sort of, the nose here and the band and the face that comes up and around. Okay, and of course these are just planets. You got the planet here, and then the one trickling off the side, which is making the band. Okay, you can see it here. Now look at everything above this debris line. Everything here. Look at these. How this delicately just comes up and over this. Okay. It started down here, but you can see all this right here is in the front of this. It starts here and shoots up and comes up. But all this right here, I mean, this is a massive planet right here, guys. And this right here is creating all this push here. Okay, you can see the little veins stop here and start here, come up from underneath, because the little objects are pushing itself under and up and over this object. It's going to create a frontal motion. Now you can see objects here. Okay, you can see the real thin cloud here as well. But right up here, guys, look at that tiny one. I mean, they come all in shapes and sizes, people. Right here, look. It's not the best picture, but gosh, you guys can see that. Gotta be able to see that. Okay, and here's the object, the big one. Okay, and here's the debris trail it's making. It's grabbing a hold of this. Look at this. Huge, guys. Look at all this. You know, it's really, really thick, and then it just starts splitting out into its own direction because it's going around something. Look at this line that starts here, works itself down. I mean, look at that. It's massive, guys. I did this color here because the orange and yellow seems to show depth more. I don't know why. To me it does. You look at this thick line. Look in the background, guys. Look at all this stuff. You can see this thin line and everything in the background here. Look at over here. How delicate that is. And it's, again, the depth perception. You got an object here, and you got travel from that coming out. You see these, as well as this. This is in front of this. Okay, you can see that. Okay. Beautiful picture. I want to thank you guys for joining the channel and watching my video. I hope that you understand a little bit better what I'm seeing. If you haven't seen anything yet, please tune in and keep watching my channel. I'll try to do the best I can in showing you what I'm seeing. Until next time, guys, this is Music Player 1979 coming to you from West Texas. Much love. Further to the left, and nothing's changed. Now, you have a massive object here. For the simple fact is you see the real skinny lines that travel from about this area across the screen. And if you use your depth of perception, you'll realize that this is further away than this. This comes out. Okay. And it's the shadows that you want to look for as well. This makes a C shape here because there's a massive object here and here. I mean, this one is big, but you'll see it on the 22nd. You can see the lines still here and here. They're really everywhere. You can see them. They stretch all the way across, some of them. Okay, but right here I want you to note, as we're traveling, now this just comes, makes itself visible on the first day as it appears, and you'll see just a little bit as we see here, and the rest of the sky will be blue. You can see the detail in the clouds, the lines that it makes, all of it. There's still here, still one here. You can see how this right here is being pushed down with the backing of it. Just look at the detail, folks. It's amazing. The little planets you have here. And this is still the 21st. Beautiful picture. This object from the right of the sun to the left, and it never changed its appearance. So I want you to look at this, how it looks in this picture on the right of the sun, and then we'll look at it again on the left of the sun. Now you can see in this picture here it's closer to the sun and it hasn't changed. It's still the same. Now again, it's on the left side of the sun, and the object is thicker but still the same. And you can see the travel pattern has changed. Its influence is down here, where the main object should be right now. Now you can see the C shape it makes in front of the object. Almost the same object as the April object. There it is again. What's going on, guys? This is Music Player 1979 coming to you from West Texas. It's the 23rd of January 2014. The date was Tuesday the 21st. It was the afternoon time. I was headed to Snyder, a little bit bigger of a town, to catch some supplies for myself for the week. And off in the southwestern sky, about 3 hours or so before sunset, I noticed the system coming up below the sun. Now this is what the system will look like before it comes overhead. You have a planet here. You can see the lines that are going through it. Most people think they're chemtrails, but they're not. Here, we have a corkscrew travel here, this being the primary object creating this. And then of course you have the bigger planet creating the arm. But this object here is going in a corkscrew fashion. You can see how the lines are drawn down here and disappear. They come back up here. Think of it as the end of a screw. The bevels you have in it that go from the bottom to the top. Same idea here. Now in this picture you can see a large object. You can see its debris trail behind it of what we can see as the light's hitting it. You can see this right here, it's just massive. And it's going from the right to the left. Now this object right here, I followed this